Hi guys, this is Tech Howdy. I welcome you to another video tutorial. In the last video tutorial, we learned how we can add or install client-side packages, that's Bootstrap and jQuery, in our current project. In this video tutorial, what we would be doing is working on the featured image slider section, and we will also add the required model classes that we would be using in this project. So this is how the finished version of the project would look, where when we go to the featured slider section under the PCA dropdown. Now PCA is nothing but the short form for personal content area. So every client or that you're building the website for, they would have their own personal content area where they would want to add banners or for their brands that of the products that they are selling, or featured slider for any kind of promotion they're running, or for clearance. So we would have all these personal content areas depending on your need. Since this project tutorial is about featured sliders, I'll be focusing on the featured slider section. So when we click on the featured slider section, the user will be able to see a form which would be used to upload images. They would need to enter a title, something like this. This is featured slider, and after they have provided the title, they can select based on what type of PCA this is. So it's for the featured homepage, and then they can upload the images. So I have some test images here. I can choose these images and I can upload them like this. So we will be working. So we would need to have all the model classes that will contain all these properties that we are going to add, like the title for the slider, the image title, the image caption, the alt text for the image, and the description. So we would need these properties and we will add them in the respective model classes. So let's go ahead and add all the model classes that we need to build this featured content uploader, featured slide uploader. So let's do that. So in the application where we stopped previously, as I mentioned, we were adding the Bootstrap packages, Bootstrap and jQuery. Now let's go ahead and add our model class. And also guys, we are currently using views. So you will see there's a pages folder which contains the views pages. So we can create views in two ways, with pages, razor pages and razor views. So I'm not going to use pages in this application. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, delete this pages folder. You can delete it as well, we don't need it. And the next thing that we want to do is add a new folder in our project. So let's add a new folder. So to add a folder, we will click on the new folder option and call this models, and right click on the models folder and add a new C# class. We will call this class as gallery, which will hold all the properties related to the gallery itself. Now we would need to add another class which will hold the properties of all the gallery images. So we will call this as gallery image. And now let's add the required properties for gallery. So each gallery will contain multiple images. So it's one to many relationship that we are creating on the database. So first thing that we want to do is add our properties, and these properties, they will then be converted into your database table columns. And as we all know that each table needs to have a key, that's the primary ID. So let's first create a key, and we will do that using entity framework core. So let's first also add the required using statements, references to the assembly using system, and then we would need using system dot collections dot generic assembly reference, and we will also need to add the reference to data annotations. System dot component model dot data annotations. So this thing here is a part of data annotations assembly. So now what are we going to call our primary key? So it's going to be int gallery ID. So there is one feature in Entity Framework Core, which is when we associate a property name with the word ID, Entity Framework Core is smart enough to understand that this is the primary key of this particular table. So also we will use the key attribute here to denote that this is the primary key of our table column. And now let's add the remaining properties as well. So I have added the remaining properties here. The second property that I have added is the gallery URL. That is the URL of the gallery itself, not the gallery image, but the gallery itself, which will contain all the images. The title property will hold the title of the gallery. The time created property will hold the time when the gallery was created. The last updated property, as indicates, will hold the property when the gallery was last updated by any user. The user ID will hold the user ID of the user who created or updated the gallery. The username will be the name of the user who has created or updated the gallery. And then we have the is featured and is active property, which will help us to make the gallery featured and make it active so that the users on the client side can see the featured image gallery and it's visible to them. We also have a property called as the gallery type, as I showed you in the example. Then the drop down, we have a gallery type property, whether it's for the home page, for the category or brand. So this is the property that will hold the value for the gallery type. Finally, now let's go ahead and add the properties for a gallery image. So before we add the properties, let's just copy the required uh, assembly references and also add it on this class so we don't have to type it again. And now let's go ahead and add the properties for our gallery image. So here are the properties for our gallery image. I have added a primary key, which is the image ID. Each image will have a unique image ID. This is the image URL where actually on the server in which folder the image is saved, the image caption property to hold the caption of the image, and every image will belong to a particular gallery, and every gallery, as we know, has a gallery ID. So we will store the gallery ID as well. We have a image description which will hold a description of the image, and finally the alternate text. In case if you want to add any more properties, you can add them here, or even you can add them later, because since we are using Entity Framework Core to build the database using the code first approach, we can add or remove properties or columns. It's very easy. So if you need any more properties, you can add them here at the moment. Now, the final step is to create a relation between gallery and gallery images. So to create a relation between these two tables using Entity Framework Core, we will first go to our gallery class and then create a relation with the gallery image. The way we will do that is we will create a virtual property. So this property that we'll create, there will be no column created for this in the database. This is a virtual property just created for the purpose of creating a relation between two tables. So a gallery is a collection of gallery images. So we'll use the iCollection interface And what is this collection? This is a collection of all gallery image. Now we will call this collection of gallery image as gallery images. So now we have created a relation with our gallery image table. Now in the gallery image table, we also need to create a relation. So the way we would create it is, so obviously gallery image is not a collection of gallery. Gallery is a collection of gallery images. Therefore here we cannot use iCollection. We will create a property and this will be of type gallery, and we will call this gallery. In this way we have created a relation between these two classes and these two tables in our database. So when we will create the tables using Entity Framework code, you will notice that there is a foreign key and primary key both on these tables, and I will show you when we run that command in the upcoming video tutorial. Now that is it for the required model classes for this particular project where we are creating featured image slider. In the next video tutorial, we will work on our application DB context, that is the database context that we will be using to communicate with our database, and then create our DB sets, that the database sets, that the columns that we need in our database. So we will do that in the upcoming video tutorial. If you have any questions, please use the comment section. You can also find the entire source code in the video description. I'll put the link for the DevOps Repo. Thank you very much and have a good day.